Ever wonder where you truly come from? Let's rewind to the beginning of my story. There's a spoiler. I was adopted. 39 years later, my birth parents found me, and my biological father told me I had a purpose. But you know all of that from my teaser video. Time was late 1970. My mom was a ward of the state, and my dad was 16. I was the product of two teens in love sneaking out and meeting up. I don't know what the situation was that caused her to be a ward of the state, but that's where my story starts. The state wanted my mother to make a plan for how she would take care of me once I was born. Things like where would she live, where she would work, how she would provide for me, who would take care of me while she was at work. She pretty much had it all planned out, but I had other plans. Born prematurely in February 1971, my arrival was unexpected. My mother named me, and my father saw me only once behind glass in the hospital. He didn't know about the adoption until it was a done deal. My mother didn't put my father on my birth certificate. Her reasoning was she worried he would get in trouble. I can't testify to the truth in that it's what I was told. I was adopted at 4 months old by a couple who already had an adopted son 3 years old. The couple were far apart in age, with the woman being 13 years older. The man had been in the military and met his bride overseas. I am going to keep this story about my adoption and reunion with my biological parents. Stories about my childhood and what I've gone through as an adult will be other stories. So make sure you subscribe and don't miss any of them. Now let's get back to the story at hand. Raised by adoptive parents, I always felt different, questions unanswered. Why were there no pictures of me before I was 4 months old? Why were there no pictures of my pregnant mother? Why don't I look like anyone in my family? My brother kind of looks like my mom, but I don't look like anyone. When I was in middle school, I remember thinking, I must be adopted. I don't look like anyone, and I don't feel connected to anyone. But I tucked that thought to the back of my head about as fast as it came out. Fast forward. My father's confession on my mother's deathbed. The revelation. A secret half-brother. My father called me on Thanksgiving Day 2005 and told me that they just left the doctors, and my mother has a tumor on her brain, and they were going to do a biopsy on it to see if it was cancerous. So, let me put this into perspective. On Thanksgiving Day, he decided to call and give me devastating news. Maybe I shouldn't have been bothered by it. Ruined Thanksgiving for me. What made it even worse is that I was just getting into the car with my kids when he called. I stayed out of the car to talk to him, and when I got in the car, my young son was so excited because he just heard a song, and he wanted me to hear it. The song, Christmas Shoes from New Song. It's a story about a young boy wanting to buy his dying mother a pair of shoes so she will look beautiful if she meet Jesus tonight. I lost it. I could not contain the news I just received. Fast forward a month to just after Christmas. I get a call from my dad telling me that my mother is much worse. My brother and I need to come now. We make the drive and get to spend time with my mother. Our relationship was always one of trying but awkward. I always believed she loved me, but there was just something missing. Too many secrets, too many whispers, and too many unknown answers to questions. I sat with her on her bed, and we played games and talked. I told her I was sorry for not being the perfect daughter. She told me she was sorry and that she loved me. Sorry for what? Another question I may never know the answer to, at least not for 5 more years. On my mother's deathbed, my father tells my brother and I that they have something to tell us. That my father was married before he met my mother, and he has a son. I'm stunned trying to wrap my head around what I just heard. He has a son. I have a brother. But before I could think too long, my father tells us not to try and find him because they do not have anything to do with each other. Wait, so tell us we have a brother, and then tell us not to look for him. My dad did give us his name and where he lives. Why do that if you don't want us to look for him? He went on to tell us that this new brother that we are not supposed to find is in the will for $1 so that he can't go after him for anything. Damn, that's harsh. And that my brother and I would split everything. Spoiler. That didn't happen either. My brother, the adopted one, got everything. But that's another story, too. My mother passed away, and within a week, I had sent a letter to my half-brother. We connected, and wow, he looked exactly like my dad. Why didn't my other brother look like my dad? Weird. You must remember I didn't know my brother was adopted at this point in life. Fast forward 5 years. October 1st, 2010, I get up like any other normal day. I do to my computer because I have some online class assignments I need to work on. But hey, let's look at Facebook first for a minute. Yes, I was really disciplined. Then came the Facebook message that changed everything. This woman sent me a message about a family that was looking for their daughter. She ends with, "I think you are the person they are looking for." I have to read this a few times. What is she saying? Why is she saying I'm adopted? I send her a message and ask her, "Why are you writing this to me? Why are you saying I'm adopted?" She responds by saying that she is an adoption angel, and she helps people find each other, and went on to say, she is sorry and maybe she made a mistake. No, no, no. That is not an acceptable answer. I respond and tell her that my parents have kept things from me and lied about things. So no, you opened this can of worms. We are going fishing. I contacted my dad, the man I knew as my dad for 39 years, and asked him for a copy of my birth certificate. He sent it. I called the Department of Child Services in the town and state listed on the birth certificate. I gave them the birth certificate, and sure enough, it was attached to an adoption record. The lady told me that I would need to petition the court to get the record unsealed. I called my adopted father and asked him straight up, "Why didn't you tell me I was adopted?" His response, "Where did you get a stupid idea like that?" I told him I got a hold of DHS in the state I was born, and he said they can't tell you that. Then I told him that he just confirmed it too. He told me I was causing problems. How? I'm not the person that kept the adoption hidden and lied about it for 39 years. Every time they make a comment of, "Oh yeah, you have this just like so-and-so in the family," or "Don't you wish you could have as good of a relationship and marriage as we do?" Seriously, my entire life was built on a lie, and I'm the problem. By this time, I had spoken to my biological mother, and she gave me my father's name. While the relationship with my biological mother didn't work out as I would have wanted it to, I had a great 10-year relationship with my biological father until the day he passed away. I thank God every day that I got to have that time with him. The first time he saw my picture, he said, "That's my daughter. No DNA test needed. He knew." In 2013, as part of my therapy, I ended up petitioning the court to change my name back to my original birth name. And my father also asked the court to allow me to have his last name, something that he was never able to do before. And to honor him, I am in the process of having my birth certificate updated with my birth first and middle name and my biological father's last name. Side note, please don't think that I hate my adoptive parents. I do not. God has gotten me past the anger and helped me to move forward. I am grateful for them taking me in and giving me a home, clothes to wear, food to eat, and any other opportunities I got. I don't know if anyone else out there had adoption kept from them until well into their adult lives. If you have, let me know. God bless you all.